One of the people that was highly motivated in discouraging me from going into medicine was actually a close family member of mine. And this person would find every reason to convince me not to go into medicine. And it wasn't because this person didn't think I was smart enough or capable enough, but this person would find very creative ways. And I was too young to recognize that the reason why this person was telling me not to go into medicine was because they were afraid of losing me, and they were afraid of losing time with me. We all know there are a lot of really well-meaning people in our lives that love to give us advice on which career we should or shouldn't choose. So today I'd like to share my experience receiving a lot of discouragement and negativity around medicine and how I overcame it. And I hope that this can encourage you if you encounter this along your path to medicine. So when I was in second grade, my mother had a pulmonary embolism, and I knew right then and there that I wanted to be a physician someday because I wanted to help people in a similar way. So as I grew up, I started taking the necessary steps to get into medicine. I started shadowing, trying my best to get really good grades, and volunteering as well. And around the time that I hit my sophomore or freshman year of college, I started receiving a lot of negativity and criticism when I would say that I wanted to pursue medicine. I heard things like, "I don't think you can handle the stress of medicine," and then they would emphasize how difficult medicine is and how smart you need to be to get into medicine. And though I don't think all of this was geared towards me specifically, they weren't telling me I was completely not smart enough to get in, but I internalized it and I stopped believing that I was capable of getting into medicine. And I kind of tried to force myself into doing something that I knew wasn't what I was meant to do. I was kind of in like a confused part of my life for a few years because of this. And it wasn't until I realized and I got a little bit older and I was able to understand the reasons why people were discouraging me from going into medicine. And I think understanding why people are saying these things is a necessary component to taking them with a grain of salt. So I'll give you a few examples. One of the people that was highly motivated in discouraging me from going into medicine was actually a close family member of mine. And this person would find every reason to convince me not to go into medicine. And it wasn't because this person didn't think I was smart enough or capable enough, but this person would find very creative ways. And I was too young to recognize that the reason why this person was telling me not to go into medicine was because they were afraid of losing me, and they were afraid of losing time with me. And I recognize that now, that it was fear-based. And then another one of the people that told me that they didn't think I could handle the stress, they saw a time where I wasn't handling stress very well, and they kind of thought that they knew me better than they actually did. They said these things because they really cared about me, but at the end of the day, only I knew myself well enough, and only I knew what I was and wasn't capable of handling. And then there were physicians who would say maybe pursuing a career in medicine isn't like it used to be, and I didn't recognize that oftentimes this was coming from a financial perspective. Like 20, 30 years ago, they were making more money, and then regulations came and suddenly they were making less money than they were before. And even though both pre and post regulations, they were still making really great money, it can be hard to adjust your standard of living after you are used to having more. So they're coming from that perspective. And there were also really well-meaning physicians who would discourage me from going in because maybe had they known just how difficult it was and how much you had to give up on the journey, they would have chosen a different career. So there are a lot of reasons why people might discourage one from going into medicine. I think it's important to know that it can happen to anyone along your pathway. It doesn't mean that you're not smart enough. It doesn't mean that you're not capable enough. It can often just be insecurity from someone else. It can just happen for a number of reasons. A major reason is just losing time with the person that you love, because a lot of people know how difficult medicine can be. So my biggest tip is to try to understand why this person is trying to persuade you out of pursuing medicine. Try to really understand what their motives are and try to combine that with your own understanding of why you want to go into medicine and see if they merge. Try to see if it is good advice, because a lot of the advice that we get growing up isn't good advice. It's just a reflection of that person and what they wish they would have heard when they were younger, but they aren't you. You are a completely different person. So yeah, try to understand where the person is coming from and try to take what people say with a grain of salt, and just be confident in yourself and be confident that you are capable of going into medicine. Be confident that you are smart enough, and if it's what you want, don't let people convince you out of it. I wasted like 3 years waffling on not knowing what I wanted to do when I knew all along I wanted to go into medicine. I just didn't have enough confidence in myself to believe that I was capable. And lastly, if you are a person who is giving advice to others about careers that they should or shouldn't go into, I encourage you to just support whoever it is who's having a hard time deciding what career to go into. What we say really affects people, and it can really affect their career path. So I think it's better not to give direct career advice. And I say this because there was this family that I was living with in Texas, and I asked them, I think I was 21 at the time, and I asked them, what do you think that I would be good at as a career someday? Because I was confused, I didn't know what to do with my life, and I just wanted some direction. So I'm like, what do you think would fit me? And I was actually frustrated at the time because they didn't say anything specifically. They said that I could do whatever that I wanted to go into and that I was smart and capable. And looking back now, I am so grateful that they didn't tell me what career was good for me. I'm grateful they didn't tell me that I would be a great engineer or that I would be a great pilot. I don't know. Because I valued their advice and their input so much that I'm sure I would have tried pursuing whatever they told me to do. So, moral of the story is, if you are giving advice on somebody about the career that they should go into, just try to encourage them with whatever they decide to go into. And if they fail, encourage them to get back up and keep going. Yeah, so I hope this video can be helpful to you if you have encouraged discouragement going into medicine. I hope that you know that you're not alone and this can happen to a lot of people, and not to let it get you down or dissuade you. Medicine, of course, is a hard career. Just in my first year, I've had many moments where I've actually wanted to give up because it's so ridiculously hard, but I think it's worth it. And I think even as hard as it can be, I think it will be worth it someday in the end. Yeah, we all know medicine is hard and it takes sacrifices. And if it's what you want to do, don't let people talk you out of it. Just do it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more medical school content. All right, take care. See you guys in the next video.